Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we're back. A ray full of sunshine and luck in my pocket. Because we have obtained the new EX Rain after, not a lot of summons, all skill. So, yeah. Here we are. She's a magic unit. She's water. So this is our third EX water unit, right? Because we've gotten Fount of Wisdom Rimuru, we've got Fantasy Milim, and now we have Rain. I'm fairly certain. 3. So the only thing we're missing out of this is, so we got 3 water, 3 wind, 2 earth, 1 dark, 1 light, 2 space. We're missing a fire EX unit, so I wonder what's on the horizon. Anyways, that's a different video. What else does she do? She uses a spear, as if you couldn't tell from this image right here that she uses a spear. Her ult is a single target for 490%, and there is no extra effect. When you use it, it's just stronger than normal, because normally it'd be 470, and then you'd have some thing going on over here, but it's 490. And then her first skill is the magic attack by 20%, but if it's in the first 3 turns, it's actually 40%, and then you lower the resistance, magic resistance of an enemy, single enemy, by 20%. And then her second skill is the Isis buff, essentially increases all green gauges by 50%, and then also lowers crit resistance by 20% for 2 turns. So this unit can do a lot. She's, buffing DPS, she's buffing your greens, she's also side buffing your DPS by lowering their resistance down here. So realistically, this is a 60% buff, this is a 20%, so she's doing like 80% buff right here if you have both things active. It doesn't actually work out like that, but you get what I'm going for. It's just that this turn 3 kind of limit right here, we'll see how effective it is to actually do things in 3 turns. But even after that, it's still a 40% buff, right? 20 and 20 right here, so it'll still be okay. Right, but let's just kind of jump in. Let's start off in Inferno 2 of the beatdown battle with the full meta. Alright, this is the team I'm going to be using starting out. We've got Mirren, we've got the Hero 2.0, Traya, Rain, Shuna, and Sokka. So this here, her entire purpose is to help get Shuna rolling, right? We want to use the attack buff, we want to use the light and crit damage buff, we want to use the magic buff. If we can, I would like to use the resistance down buff with the hero, but that's probably not going to work out because that's 4 units into 3 slots, so we'll find out. Also, it kind of works a little funky because this boss, Grucius, binds you on turn 3, right? So if Rain isn't up here and she's in the back, you're not going to be able to bring her into turn 4, of which case now you've lost your 40% magic damage buff. It's now down to 20. So that does kind of hurt her, and it does mean that she has to be up front in this specific battle for maximum power. So what I generally have been doing now is I've been doing this and bringing Sokka in and just kind of letting it ride. And then next turn, hopefully, we can swap out the Hero 2.0. That way we can get most of our buffs active. Because the Hero 2.0 is probably the lowest importance one, and it worked out perfectly. Look at that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to green buff here. We're going to guarantee the future green orbs right here, and then the hero is going to come out of here, and we're going to steal these orbs with Shuna. And that'll guarantee us a 6 orb send. That's full points right there. The greens are buffed, even though we only have 2 of them, but next turn we will be guaranteed a whole hand of greens, if not 5 and an ult. Let's see how this goes. And now what this means is that on turn 3 we can get quote-unquote maximum power, right? Yeah, so we'll have an ult, max points, we'll have the crits, so 22k right there on her normal without anything really else going on. With a pierce right there too, and a cheeky counter, why not? Alright, 12, 11, 11, 27, cool. There we go. Ooh, that's a nice hand. So there we go. Here's the bind, but we're on turn 3, and we have everyone here. So we're going to get the maximum power off Sokka's buff, 45%. We're going to get 40% on the magic buff, and then we're going to get the light attack and crit damage, of which we are already critting. And we have a full hand. So how much power will this do? We have the Light Souls, we got skill point gain, we've got the damage increase by 25% on the orb as well, and then the 50% gauge increase from Rain. So let's see how much damage we can actually do. Sadly, we have 25 points left, and if we weren't binded, like if we hit that 10%, we could have brought the hero in and used her skill as well for just extra power. But it didn't quite work out, so let's just go ahead and see how much damage this does right here. The ult, 337k, not EX. Was that 85k on a normal? Was there no cap right there? 177. Alright, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he's dead. Okay. And he's dead. That's Inferno 2, and he's dead on turn 3, and that was not a struggle. It's not a struggle at all. Alright, so definitely some power right there. Now, let's try it again, but let's not have Shuna, right? Let's make Rain the primary focus, and we'll see how well it works then. Alright, so now that we've seen what it looks like at, mostly full power, with Rain's buff, Shuna's buff, and then Sokka's buff, let's do it again without Rain to compare the damage. So last time, Shuna's normal orb did about 85k without him guarding, and then the final 200% orb did 177. So, and I forget how much damage the ult did, so hold on 1 second. The ult did 337, so obviously we're going to do a little bit less here, but let's compare how much of a difference we get between having and not having Rain's buff. We're also not going to use the hero because we didn't use it last time, so it wouldn't be a very fair test. We'll just use these buffs. We also didn't have anything from the charm going on because we used Mirren last time on the previous turn. So now let's see what we can hit with this turn. So 337 is the target, and we hit 227, so wow. Wow, 110k difference right there is quite a bit, and then 119k in the orb instead of 177. That is quite a big difference in damage, right? And it wasn't an EX ult the last time either, it was just a standard ult. So, I mean, yeah, that does add a literal crap ton of power, but as you can see, like, he's almost dead. Had we used the hero's debuff, he would have died, right? He only has 148k left, and we would have done quite a bit with that hero debuff, plus the extra orb damage. So it's comparable, right? It's nice to have this green buff right here. It's nice to have that magic damage. But is it necessary to do what you need to do? I don't really think so. It just makes things so much more powerful, which is cool. And I love seeing big damage numbers, you know me. But it's not overly necessary, because you can do great things without it. But it'll help you do amazing things if you have it. So now let's move on to the next segment. Okay, so obviously this right here is not going to be a realistic test, right? Because obviously Shuna is a primary DPS with 2 additional buffs that she's personally getting versus Rain, who is not. But it will be a good opportunity to see, the true damage potential between the two, which would make me think that if you don't have Shuna, you should probably get Shuna with this Milim instead of this Rain. But let's go ahead and apply the debuff here. We are at turn 4 again, so we are only getting the 20%. So again, this was set up in a way that we knew we were going to hit turn 4, because I wanted both of their ults. But, oh well. We'll see how it goes. And then we'll bring in you for the hero, and yeah, that's about it. And then we'll use the attack buff here. So they both have the same support buffs from the rest of the team, it's just that Shuna now has the additional crit damage and light buff. And then if we do this is extra crit damage here, so we'll give that to both of them as well. And then we'll compare. So we'll send Rain first. They don't have any extra effects on their ults, so this will be a straight across test almost. Rain does 116k, and Shuna does 368. Alright? They had the same buffs. The only difference was the light and the crit damage, and you can see just the massive power difference. They're both level 100. I think, well, Shuna does have a 6-star Awaken, weapon versus a 4-star Awakened weapon, so I mean, we're not missing that much either. But it does go to show that Rain is most definitely a support DPS unit, right? She has skills that will support Shuna while happening to be a single target damage dealer. It's just kind of a cherry on top of the cake. But now that we've seen what kind of power we can get out of this team, let's go and take Rain into some off-meta teams. Alright, so we're going to make her a primary DPS unit. We're going to go into the Water 2.0 Tempered Edge, with Water Milim leading, Fire Milim to seal the crit resistance that the enemy Shuna has, our own Shuna for the alt buff and orb changing, Water Xion for the support, Rain as our DPS, and then Rimuru for the orb change. It's just that this stage doesn't have set hands, so hold on. Alright, well, we got lucky. The first one, we can just bring in Water Rimuru to switch these Shunas, and then we can bring Rain in, and we'll be looking pretty good. So, here on this team, we have some redundancies, and that's just because of the way the stage is built and what we have to use. So, normally we would have Hinata, who would be sealing the crit resistance on Shuna, and that would be, wonderful and fine and dandy. But we obviously aren't bringing Hinata, because we're trying to use Rain as the DPS. So we've had to bring Fire Milim to seal the crit, which is cool and all, but Water Xion is already giving us crit, right, off her skills. So it's redundant there. We're getting a crit right here, and then also a 10% magic buff, which Rain, is going to give 40% right now and for one more turn. But after that, we're going to go down to 20, which, is still better than the 10 over here, but not by much. But we will at least benefit from the resistance down. So I guess that is something. Oh, okay, we got pretty lucky here too. So let's use Rimuru for Milim. And then we'll do the greens, and then we'll bring Shuna back in, and we'll get the oranges, and we'll look pretty good. Now, unfortunately, the green buff that Rain has is not really going to be too effective here because we're running a blue-focused team. We will benefit from the crit resistance that we can put on Shuna, later on down the line, so it does have some additional effect. So it's not a completely worthless skill. It's just that this team is redundant because everything that Rain is doing, this team already did. So, oh, that's a hand, isn't it? Okay, well, we gotta take Rain out of here, otherwise she's gonna be attack nerf for the rest of the fight. So, unfortunately, we're gonna miss this guaranteed, probably EX ult for her. Or maybe we just save it, who knows? How many points do we actually need to run this? We need 55, so 110, another 110 with Shuna and Milim, and then 40. So what's that? 220, 260 points, and we're almost to that cap right there. So you know what? We'll get the EX ult for funsies, or we'll attempt to. And we'll just suffer through having 5 orb sends of blues. But, I mean, she can work. Obviously, she is not, like, the savior of all these teams. She is, at the end of the day, a support unit. Okay, well, that is handy, I guess. Here we go. So, finally can use the full buff, so let's use this, that, and then we have enough to use the Milim crit resistance, seal, and then we'll go ahead and send this EX ult. I don't know if she's going to kill. We're missing the 7% water attack charm that we have on Milim, but it's fine. We had to make do with what we had. So there's the seal, so now we can actually crit. So let's send these normals, and then we'll send the alt, and we'll see what we can do here. 28, 29k, 360k is fine, I guess. I mean, but we didn't really get anything out of this team, because if you have Hinata, you're going to bring Hinata, right? And you're not really going to sub Rain out for someone else on this team, because you'd probably just bring Octarine Valentine or Light Raphael, and that would really severely increase your damage rather than these kind of short bursty buffs meant for a short-term team that you've stuck on a long-form team. So let's try another short-term team. All right, next we're gonna go back onto a short bursty team with space units. So we've got Sufia, we've got the Velzard, Space Velzard, my 100 Space Xion, and then my newly 88 Space Shinsha, along with Protector Romaris. So, not Shuna, but Xion and Shinsha, God, so many S's, are both magic, so they will benefit from the magic buff. We are not critting, though, naturally. We are piercing with Xion, so we're not really going to benefit from Rain's secondary debuff, but we will benefit from, hopefully, the green orbs that we will maybe get with Velzard and Sufia being the orb changers. So this is another not set hand, so we'll be right back. Alright, let's see if I can get lucky here. So we'll bring you in for Rain, and we'll kind of... Actually, we get binded next turn? I think we're just going to do this, and we'll see what happens. We have enough to do 2 orb changes now, if we need to, and we're going to have to. Well, we are binded here, so I guess it's a good thing that we brought the orb changers in. So, unfortunately, none of them are Xion orbs. So, isn't that just peachy? Alright, well, should have put the anti-bind bracelets or earrings on them as well. We'll keep sending this on Milim. She's going to heal back up anyways. Alright, so let's get this bind off of us, please. It's going to last another turn. I totally forgot about that. Okay, let's just burn off these blues. Well, can we? Do we have to get out of here? Alright, 8,000. Not what we're here to see. Okay, that's a whole bunch of Sufia orbs. Alright, instant damage. We don't want Rain up front. Obviously, she does have type disadvantage, so this isn't her best setting. Are you kidding me right now? Alright, well, that's just hilarious now, isn't it? Okay, so we have this and that, and we have 9 points left. So we're going to run with the blues. So we're gonna do this orb change, and then we're gonna bring Rain in for Velzard, and then we're going to use the green buff. We're on turn 4 again already, so we were not able to use the maximum power buff, because turn 1 we get locked in, and she was not up front. So that's what's happening with a lot of, burst stages, that we just get binded, and we just don't have an opportunity. So let's take you out now, because there's no point in using it, and then let's start using some charms, I guess. So I guess we can do this one, and then we can use the Pierce buff. Okay, that switched the charm over, whatever. And then let's use Romaris, so we should have the green buff active now. Normally we would bring Isis for that, but, it doesn't really need it. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will get us quite a bit of ult gauge, so even though Xion didn't get any orbs because of Romaris, we're going to get the ult anyway. We might get Shinsha's ult, hold on. So charm, cool, and okay, yeah, we do. So we have 100 points now. And let's go ahead and take Sufia out. Yeah, okay. So we'll do the magic buff. We'll put the charm strike on. Ooh, we don't have enough to use the ult buff as well. Unfortunate. We could have used this last turn, maybe. Okay. What do I feel like doing here? What do I feel like doing? Let's do this, because that's going to last for a while, and we can send her away. And we'll just hold on to Shinsha's ult. We'll send these greens. Hopefully Rain doesn't die here, I guess is what we're really hoping for. Alright, 1, 2. Ow. Alright, that didn't hurt nearly as much as I thought it would. Alright, there's a charm. We get extra, and then there's the Romaris stuff. Okay. So now you can come in for Velzard. Perfect. And then Rain can use her magic buff, so it's 20% magic buff plus the 20% resistance down for magic. on one enemy. So not everybody is going to get that, only the one that's targeted, which is kind of unfortunate, but we have more single targets in this specific meta than we do AoEs, so it kind of makes sense. And then we'll bring you back in, since you're not the damage dealer, but you'll help us. So now let's get the attack, the ult buff. Again, put the resistance down on Valentine because I want her healing out of here. We will reapply. I guess I could use Romer's last turn, huh? Oh well. Reapply that, get 60 more points, and then we'll put charms on everybody else. So you get that. Actually, no, let's hold on. Let's do this first. And then pierce resistance down, and then we'll put the last charm on Dino. So everyone is charmed, so Shion's going to do max damage to everybody. And then we'll send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 20% magic attack buff, minus 20% magic resistance down. Shion does 87k against Valentine. That's not terrible damage. Not terrible damage. You're going to do less because you didn't get the magic buff. 21k. Alright, at least Valentine is dead, so she can't heal. 63k. Alright. And then we follow up on Milim. Okay. So, I mean, it's not like we have not benefited from having Rain on this team. It's just that, would you really bring her because she's type disadvantage and you're getting, you know, the minimal buffs? Because it's highly unlikely that you're going to get the max power buff. Because you don't want to leave her up front because you're fighting 3 wind units, and if all 3 of them decide to hate Rain, she's gonna die very quickly because you're binded in for, you know, 2 turns. So I don't know if it's really feasible to use her on this stage or in this team setup, buffing a space team. We have 3 ults, but we have nothing else, so let's go ahead and send that, and then we'll follow these up, see if we can kill Milim. And we might just clear this here. So 24k right there. We didn't have the ult buff. 8,000. Shion does 36,000. Thankfully kills there. And I don't think she kills here. No, because we guarded. Alright, so Dino's going to get a cheeky ult off. And then we still have one more turn, so we have one more ult here. And some orbs. And you know what? Let's use the magic buff to finish it off. So let's get Sufia out of here. Let's use the buff again. So another 20 and 20. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This, and I think the ult will kill him. Oh, it didn't. 11k. Well, that's pretty sad. Now he's dead. Okay, so did we benefit from using Rain? Yes. Was it as effective as we wanted it to be? No. Let's try another green focus team. Okay, this isn't what I would call a burst team, because it's a defense-oriented team, but they are magic, and it is a green team, so we will be able to assist with, you know, them doing a little bit extra damage here and there, because we'll have the stat swap from Mirren, so we'll have quite high attack stats on both of these characters, and then we'll have the earth buff, and then we'll also have the magic buff, and the magic resistance down. But again, no one is giving us crits on this team, so we're going to not benefit from part of her skill set. Thankfully, though, this is a set starting hand, so I don't have to cut here. Maybe I should anyways, just in case. I would like it on record that this is now our 4th attempt to get any semblance of green orbs on turn 2, which thankfully we have one. We have one incoming. The last couple runs, we've gotten 5 blues, 5 oranges, or only blues and oranges. And it's just been such a peachy treat. Such a delight having to deal with the orb RNG, and just the RNG of life today in general, because it hasn't been going that well. Alright, can we get more than 1 green orb next turn? We got the orb changers. We got it. Okay, finally, we can actually do something. So, let's go ahead and get Rain out of here after we use the green buff. So let's do that. What was it? 45 and 35. So 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 80 points right there. And we don't have 80 points to burn because Mirren cost 35 for her triple orb change. And we've already used Aaron. So actually that didn't really work out that well now, did it? Okay, but we can reset it. We can reset the cost with Benimaru, so everything is not lost. That's just going to be 25 and 35, so that's 60 points. So we will barely have enough, along with the green buff. So I wanted to use the magic buff now. We'll have to use it next turn, because we won't have the points for it. Okay, so let's use this one, and then we can reset everything. Give ourselves the counter attack as well. Heal up a bit with Benimaru's charm that we have added, which is only really going to hit Mirren. But that's fine. And then we can orb change. Cool. Alright, we're looking okay. We're looking okay. We do have the green buff. I did those out of order, but whatever. The Isis buff that we would normally have, because normally with this team I would bring Isis, right? We should have blue orb changing and the green buff. But here, because we have EX Mirror, and she has the built-in orb change, so we are free to bring in a different unit. And it works out fairly well. Okay, so this Mirren has an ult, so I don't need to worry about that too much. This is going to hurt because we don't have a lot of defenses going on right now, which is what this team is all built upon. So let's use the heal. Let's use this. Let's lower everyone's attack. What kind of orbs are we looking at? We got 2 and 1. Let's at least use the continuous heal. And then we'll get you out of here for Adelman, right? So again, we're on turn 3. We could use the magic buff now, but we wouldn't truly benefit from it because we only have one single target ult. That's terrible attack stat. We want to use the swap as well. So we're going to have to forego it. So we'll use this orb change again. Then we can reset it again with Benimaru and then use Aaron to get another full hand of green. Alright, this will get a lot of Mirren's ult, if not her EX ult, because we have the major green buff. We got close. Very close. Turn 3, though, I mean, it's not bad, so having that green buff from Rain is pretty good, and has definitely helped us get ults. Alright, that is really good right there, actually. So we do have the continuous heal, so we'll heal back a little bit of this. Except Leon's still got an ult coming. That hurt. Please don't kill her. Alright, there's a heal. Alright, there's that. That's good. Okay. So, let's do... Well, she has to get out of here, but it's going to bring another orange. Oh, well. That's fine. So let's use this. That's defense. And that's physical attack down on them. Plus a little bit of poison. Always fun, right? Let's reset the costs of all that. We'll use Aaron's orb change once again and get her out of here. And then we'll do this, or we'll do this, because that's for 3 turns. Lower their attack. Just nerf them down so they can't actually harm us. And then we'll bring Rain in for Aaron. And we'll hold on to that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to be on turn 5, max points right here. So we could do the stat swap now. It wouldn't be the maximum earth power, but we need turn 10 for that. So that's a little bit unrealistic. So let's go ahead and bring you in for Adelman. Alright, let's use the magic buff and the stat swap. And then we'll see how much damage we do here. I'm fairly certain that you're going to die, but I don't know about Velzard. We do have 3 ults. She is not stat swapped, nor does she have the magic buff, but at least they do have the magic resistance down, which will kind of help Aaron. So let's go ahead and send Aaron, EX Mirren, and then we'll pray that that kills, and then we'll send the single target over here, and then we'll send these 2 Mirren orbs on Leon to see if we can kill him. So Aaron does 11.8k, and that's not great, but EX Mirren, not an ult I see very often, so let's just go ahead and watch it. Hopefully better than 11k. Hopefully better. Rockfall does 71k, and Leon is dead, so that's pretty good. Okay. And then other Earth Mirren does 44k. And then follow up 2,000, but that's nerfed, and then 17k. And a cheeky counter. And then Velzard's ult does 2,000 across the board. There's the heal, there's that, there's our own poison damage, and then we can probably kill. So let's go ahead and bring you back in for Aaron. We can probably kill with this magic buff and resistance, and then we can do this, and we'll kill. pop, and pop. Cool. Alright, so again, we did benefit from her, and she definitely did provide us a good amount of support, being, the green buff helping us cycle ults, or we'll cycle Benimaru's, which helped us orb change because we could lower the cost of everything. The magic buff did help. It wasn't full power again, but it did help our damage and allowed us to kill that Leon. I don't know if we would have killed that Leon without the magic buff. I didn't check how much health he had, but we did 71k with an AoE EX ult from Mirren, who isn't, the best DPS unit in the world. But it did help. Alright, I think I'm going to call the showcase there. We're closing in on half an hour. Rain is a good unit. However, the number of teams that you actually want to use her with are rather limited, because I think I covered this originally when her kit came out, is that most of the magic metas, magic damage characters, are not built for burst damage, right? They're not built for turn 3 wipes. They're built for turn 5, turn 8 wipes. Space Millum, Dark Millum, their teams, Raphael, they're built for long-form fights. If you have the current meta with Shuna and Sokka and Rain, you're about to do nutty damage in 3 turns. And we proved that very easily on the first segment of this video. We can do disgusting amounts of normal orb damage with this meta. But as it stands right now, Rain doesn't have much of a place as far as supporting other characters. Sure, we could put her with, Space Millum. Sure, we could put her with Dark Millum. But the thing with Dark Millum is that you're probably going to be using Dark Veldora, who also stacks magic attack, which is exactly what Rain is doing. And you already have Isis, so you already have the green buff. So she is redundant to a point of not being really that helpful. The water team, as we saw, is a stacking team. Blue-focused team. Okay. The Space 3.0 team definitely worked with her. It definitely helped out Space Xion and Shinsha and kind of Sufia do extra damage. But, they're another kind of a wonky green-focused burst team. What do you know? Everything else is just kind of a meh. The Light 3.0 team is, again, a stacking blue team. So right now, her usefulness as a generic support is a little low. Now, in the future, if we do get more burst-focused green teams, which we're surely going to get, her value will jump up higher, because she is almost, she wants to be what EX Rimuru is up here. This big-time damage buffer with, consistency for a team that he's focused on with blue orb changing. This physical attack is really good, but it also costs a lot of points. Rain is a much lower cost, but also a much lower effect, because she's just built in a different format. So she is very, very strong on her own meta, but unfortunately not a lot of true powerful use case scenarios away from her meta. And as you saw, apart from the first segment, we didn't get max power Rain for turn 3 or turn 2 or turn 1 with the magic buff. It was always turn 4, turn 7, turn 8. And at that point, is it worth bringing her, or is it worth bringing someone else who will give us more damage for a longer fight? You got to make that decision. But overall, she performed about how I expected, which is really good, but also faltering a bit. So I think my grade would still stand as on meta 9.5 out of 10. Great unit for that meta. Off meta, like a 7. So can be useful. Other units exist though. But let me know your thoughts after seeing Rain in action. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.